For the last 6,000 years, the Euphrates River has brought the areas of Turkey, Syria, Iraq and Saudi Arabia unprecedented success. It's been the main source of water for the region, and with it, growth and fertility are unlike anything they'd ever seen before. However, things in the river are changing, and with it, questions are popping up all over. Join us as we dig deeper into the terrifying details scientists have revealed about the changes in the Euphrates River and what it could mean for the future of mankind. The Euphrates banks have been the home to several civilizations in the past, one of the main ones being the Mesopotamian Empire. The empire was right in the middle of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in an area that's called the Fertile Crescent. That's because the area reaped the best of the river, and with it thrived in the era too. Today, that area is in Iraq. The 1,740-mile river is officially the longest river in all of Asia. Starting off in Turkey, the river makes its way through Turkey, Syria and Iraq before becoming one with the Persian Gulf. As the world has changed over time, so has the river basin. Humans have moved in very close to the river, altering the way it naturally flowed thousands of years ago. The ancient city of Babylon was one of the first to thrive off the Euphrates River. The city grew extremely powerful, and with it set the precedent that whoever controlled the water of the river might just reap the most success. After the Treaty of Lausanne, the water of the river had to be sectioned off. The use of the water overall had to be controlled, and decisions had to be made about it. This was important because one region couldn't just harness all the water for itself, leaving the other areas dry in the process. So the use had to be rationed off, and that's something the nations had to discuss and figure out together. In 1946, Turkey and Iraq came to an agreement. According to it, if Turkey was going to make any changes to the river, they had to get the okay from Iraq first. Iraq was also permitted to build dams on the river within the territory of Turkey so it could control how much water flowed into Turkey overall. But when have humans ever been okay with decisions that might profit other people when they can have it all to themselves? Within the next 2 decades, Turkey, Syria and Iraq began building their own dams, trying to harness as much water for themselves as possible. As each dam was built, more hydroelectricity was being produced in the subsequent regions, making it easier for them to grow their economy. But you see, when there's one river and several dams on top of it, whoever is at the very end of that river is just going to get the leftovers, the water that overflows from the dams or is let out after it helps create electricity. That's nowhere near the full glory of the river, so naturally, Iraq wasn't happy about it all. The water flowing into Iraq's dams went from being a steady 15.3 cubic kilometers in 1973 to 9.4 cubic kilometers in 1975, enough to cause major concern. Things got so bad that Iraq even threatened to bomb Syria's Tabqa Dam. But the crisis was averted when Saudi Arabia and the Soviet Union intervened and helped the two countries come to an agreement. However, this was just the start. Problems with controlling the river's waters just grew exponentially from there. Year after year, someone or the other wanted more of the water, and with it, they forgot that it's a natural resource, one that didn't just need to be controlled, but taken care of too. What happens when you have such a great resource and all you do is try to take from it? Things eventually take a turn for the worst, and that's what happened to the Euphrates River too. This is a river that was so massive that you could easily see it from space. What do you see now? Well, mere remnants of what used to be a free-flowing river bringing life and fertility to the world. The image is downright terrifying. To see the river that was doing just fine get to the point that it doesn't even look like there was ever any water there is something extremely concerning. Today there's nothing but drought, crops have withered away, there's no signs of any trees, and people have to travel miles just so they can get a few bottles of drinking water. 9 million Syrians live right next to the Euphrates River, and their lives are now at stake. If they can't figure out a reliable alternative to the river, the population might get wiped out as a whole. But turns out this terrifying change wasn't as unexpected as we think it was. There was word about it centuries ago. Normally, we just talk about the facts here, things we can see and verify right now, so the information is usually not that old. But for this video, we're going to take a major step back in time, all the way back to the book of Revelation and the Bible. In chapter 16 of the book of Revelation, there's a passage that says, "The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river, the Euphrates, and its water was dried up, so that the way would be prepared for the kings from the east." What this means is that when the bowl was placed, the water from the river was scooped away and the river dried up entirely. It might have been the cup in that era, but it's the dams in this one. We've created a cup that would scoop all the water away, leaving nothing but land underneath. In Revelation chapter 9 verse 14, it is said to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." If that is to happen, the river needs to not be there. The prophecy states that the angels would be released from underneath the riverbed, and right now it looks like it's in perfect condition to let that happen. With all of that, people are convinced that the river drying up is the start of the chain of events that would eventually lead to Christ's second coming. The Garden of Eden is said to be in the same area as the Euphrates River, so it would make even more sense for Christ to conquer his enemies and establish his heavenly kingdom in this particular area. Joseph Cabaletta, pastor of the Watchman Ministries, conducted the Watchers Conference recently, and he too believes that this is it. He warned Ugandans to be on the lookout for the end of the world, saying that the river drying up is just the beginning. In Revelation 9 and Ezekiel 38, it's mentioned that there will be a great conflict as the Euphrates River slowly dies out. Right now, that might just come true too. All of the countries that contributed to the problem may go to war with one another. That's because the countries are all working in their own self-interest, and unless the river is restored to its old glory, the areas surrounding the rivers will plummet into loss. Whenever something like this happens in the world, it takes us way too long to do anything about it. Seeing some of the most terrifying prophecies come true is enough to wake most people up. But even then, there's very little we can do about it. Climate change has amplified the way the Euphrates River dried up, and while opening up the dams might make the situation a little better, it won't reverse the effects overall. The question that remains now is that which other prophecies might be coming true too, and what do these massive changes mean for the fate of the world as a whole? Well, we might just have to wait a little longer to find out, but from the looks of it, things are simply taking a turn from bad to worse, and the way things are progressing is nothing short of absolutely terrifying. And on that note, we'll wrap up today's video. What do you think about all the sudden, crazy changes happening in the Euphrates River? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.